Got a question. Want to create some real wealth? Then listen to this. I bet it's something you never even thought of. See how you can use this in your own world. Maybe you can use it, maybe you can't, but at least you're going to know about it, okay? I'm going to tell you a story. The story goes back around 30 years or so when I was still quite early in my career. I was in my office one day when I get a call from a client. We'll call this person Phil. Phil's not his real name. See, Phil tells me he wants to come in. He wants to talk to me about an idea that he got from one of his friends. He said he wants to create wealth for his kids, so we made an appointment. First, you need to know a little bit about Phil. Phil was a professional football player, in fact, a former quarterback at a well-known top university, which still today has a top-ranked football program in addition to an excellent academic program. Now, after his playing days, Phil became a coach and then later a TV commentator. He was also involved as an executive in another business. Anyway, at the time he came into my office, Phil was in maybe his early 60s. And he was comfortable financially, but because he played in the NFL back in the 1950s, he played at a time before players started making the millions that they make now. So when he came to my office, what I liked about him is he always had a clipboard and his papers. He was always prepared and planning. I can almost see him on the sidelines. Phil said he wanted to create wealth for his 3 adult kids. Now, his kids were all doing very well on their own. But he said he wanted to take out a life insurance policy on himself. He said that he would like to be the insured and that his 3 kids would be the owners and the beneficiaries of the policy. So he was going to be the insured, his kids were going to be the owners and the beneficiary. You see, having his kids as the owners and the beneficiary, after Phil dies, the death benefit, which is income tax-free because it's from a life insurance policy, would also be estate tax-free. It would not be included in his estate for tax purposes. And at the time, the estate tax was only $600,000. It's much higher today. Phil said he had already spoken to his wife and his kids about this idea and they agreed with the strategy. So he said what he wanted to do was make a gift, $10,000 a year to each of his 3 kids. Now at the time, $10,000 was the amount that somebody was allowed to give to someone else without raising any red flags. The kids in turn would use the money to pay the premium on the policy. I was able to design a life insurance policy which gave this $30,000 premium, and at his age and in his health, it was a death benefit. I don't know the exact amount, but it was in the several $million range. The application was applied for, it was approved, and it was placed in force. Phil went on to live about another 15 years after the policy was issued, and over that time he paid into it somewhere around $450,000 in premiums. However, about 15 years later, somewhere about, I think it was 75 at the time when he died, the policy paid out a death benefit in the range, and I believe it was just somewhere around $7 million, all tax-free to his kids. My friends, this is creating wealth, turning $30,000 a year into millions. Now, I know what you're thinking about life insurance, how most people avoid it at all costs, how most people buy it to pay off the mortgage in case something happens to you and so on. However, as a chartered life underwriter, I will share with you that life insurance is one of the best ways to create wealth, and a lot of it. You just need to think outside the box. I have other clients that have used this exact same strategy over the years. Some of them have put in some different variations. Some of these people have passed away and their kids or beneficiaries have received the money already. Others are still living. Life insurance can create an inheritance, a big one. Now, I'm not telling you to go out and buy life insurance on yourself or anyone else. I just want to make you aware of this strategy. It has worked, it can work, but it may not work for you. You should not go out and try to do any of this on your own without competent advice from the right people. If it's something that interests you, you need to talk it over with your family and perhaps use a surrogate insured. See, a surrogate insured is a person that's not necessarily a family member. It could be a friend, a business partner, or somebody else. And you need to get in touch with an insurance agent with the CLU designation. See, CLU stands for Chartered Life Underwriter. You should also talk this over with a competent CPA and estate planning attorney. Now, while other insurance agents may be fine and may be able to write this type of policy, you probably want to deal with somebody that's a CLU. You don't want to have something go wrong and have this policy blow up, have any tax consequences or anything like that down the road. See, there are different ways this type of thing can be done, and in all different dollar amounts and all different variations. All I want you to do is make you aware of this, because my friends, this is creating wealth. Okay, 2 more things. First, can you do me a favor? Can you hit the like button and the subscribe button? Then if you see something that interests you, you can watch it. If not, no problem. Second, all of the information on this channel comes from one of my 2 most recent books. If you don't want to wait around and hear all the information and watch all these channels, you can get both of these books. They're available on Amazon.com. Just search Ralph Loffredo. That's RALPHLOFFREDO. You'll see that when you get these books, it's not a novel. It's more like an outline. They're more of a reference book. They're more of a guidebook. In fact, what most people do is they get the book, they open up to the table of contents, it's a quick reference guide, they look up what they want to find out, and they just go to that page. It's real easy to just browse, find what you want, put the information to immediate use, get immediate results. Okay, please do me that favor again, hit the like button and the subscribe button. I'm sorry, I'm twisting over my own words here. Now, as a disclosure, I've got to give you the fine print. See, everybody's situation is different. It reminds me of when I used to go see this one doctor. When I'd walk into the exam room, he'd say, "Ralph, what's a good investment?" And I would always answer with, "Well, doc, what's a good medicine?" You see, what might work for one person may not work for someone else, and may even be dangerous for someone else. Because I am, at the time of this writing, or have been licensed in the financial services industry, I am required to give you this disclosure. No information that I'm giving for you or that is on this channel is in any way a solicitation for the purchase of any securities or insurance product or service. The information on this channel is for entertainment purposes only. Now, you as a viewer, you agree to hold myself and any company or other person harmless. See, none of this information is intended to be used as a source for legal or accounting advice, because I'm neither an accountant nor an attorney. When it does come to legal or tax matters, you are urged to get advice from a competent attorney and or accountant. Also, some suggestions or ideas or information presented on this channel may have inadvertently introduced practices or information or strategies that may be unlawful in certain states or areas. When it comes to taking any specific advice or suggestions, or when it comes to any investment or insurance matters, you are urged to meet with a competent licensed insurance or securities representative. I am not responsible, nor do I guarantee any specific or suggested amount of success, financial or otherwise, any amount of retirement security, any type of leadership power or wealth that is obtained by you, the viewer, or any other person. The information on this channel is simply meant to be a guide.